have an open case with DCFS, and it's been going on since 2017. I had reached the point in 2018 where I was granted unmonitored.
Let's take a call right now, Terry, from Matthew and Duarte.
Okay.
Matthew, this is Attorney Davis with Terry Greenstein. Did you have a quick question you wanted to ask us this evening?
Yes, Mr. Greenstein, Mr. Davis, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I have an open case with DCFS, and it's been going on since 2017. I had reached the point in 2018 where I was granted unmonitored visits with my son, who's now 13 years old. At the time this all started, he was 10. Everything was going fine. Everything was going well. The social worker had told me, just give it about a month. We're going to see how this goes. And then the next step is going to be overnights. I was waiting almost a whole year. And in October, at this point, my son was in a foster home in Glendale. And when October rolls around, the foster parent, at one of my visits, because my visits were still unmonitored, he came to me when I got there and he said, look, I don't know what's going on, but the social worker had told me you don't have unmonitored visits anymore, that I have to monitor your visits. And I said, well, that's news to me. No one has told me anything. Let me contact my attorney and I'll let you know what he says.
Mm-hmm.
They would not let me see my son after that day. The social workers told me that I couldn't see my son. It was that not to go over there.
Okay,
and I called my attorney. My attorney said, let me look into it. He looked into it and he said, the judge hasn't ordered anything. Everything's still in effect. Until the judge orders it, you have your unmonitored visits. That's
right.
Part of the stipulation. It's a part of the case plan.
Part of the court order.
So I said, yes, it was a court order. So I said, thank you very much. I'll see my son tomorrow then. It was my day. It was a Wednesday. So I called the social worker, and her voicemail was full. I couldn't leave a message. So I texted her, and I explained to her that I spoke to my attorney. He told me that my visits were still in effect, unmonitored. And if you could please let the foster parent know I will be there at my regularly scheduled time. And no response.
Matthew, let me interrupt. Yes. Let me interrupt you. Are you having your unmonitored visits now?
No.
Okay.
Here's what happened, Mr. Davis. So the next day, after I spoke to my attorney, I texted the social worker. I didn't get a response. I texted her back at an hour later, but I included the foster parent in the text message, and I explained to both of them the same exact thing that I told the social worker. My attorney told me my visits are in effect, that I will be there at my time. Just please have my son ready. When I showed up to the location, my son came down. He was happy. I saw him. Everything was fine. And he said, just, can you please come up and tell the mom that you're here? And I said, sure. So I walked up with him. He went inside. She came to the door. She slammed the door, locked it. And she says, my husband will be here right now. I said, okay, I'll wait downstairs. My grandmother took me there that day. And we were waiting to see my son because she hadn't seen my son in a while either. About 7 Glendale PD squad cars showed up. The helicopter came out, and I looked at my grandmother and I said, I don't know what's going on here. I think we need to leave. So we left. The foster mother called it in that I was attempting to kidnap my son.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no intention to do that at all.
Were you ever arrested for that?
No, I was never arrested. Me and my grandmother got in her truck and we left. Now, 2 weeks later, we had a court date. I believe it was November 1st.
2000 what?
19.
Okay.
The social worker submitted paperwork, and in the paperwork it stated that my wife and myself, showed up to the foster parents' home, and we attempted to kidnap our son. Now, I went and spoke to the detective from Glendale, and he cleared me from all charges, any wrongdoing. My wife came. He apologized to her. He said, "You weren't even there, ma'am. I don't know why they put you in the report."
Well,
my wife had a 5-day release.
Matthew?
Yes, sir.
Because I'm running out of time. This is what I want to tell you, okay? I want you to call me on Monday. And if I'm not in the office, I need you to leave a message saying, hey, we spoke on the radio this Saturday. We're going to go into this more detail because I may have some information for you that you can use. You also may have a civil rights suit against the county and the social worker, maybe even the foster parents. So I want you to call me on Monday, and we're going to talk about this more in detail, okay?
Yes, sir.